Hello and welcome to this video series on the Gimp 2.4. Now in this video we're going to be covering some of the final tools in our toolbox, and mainly these deal with working on digital images or stock photos, which I do not do hardly at all, so I may be a little bit rusty in my explanation. So if you find that I may be skimming over some important parts, well, now you know why. Now another thing too I wanted to get into real quick is that I find that these are not all of the tools. There's actually a few more here that deal again with mostly digital imagery or stock photos, and those are called color tools. Now what you can do is over here in my dialog box, you can click on this arrow, and this is just one way of getting there. There's several others, but go to add tab, come on down here to the bottom almost to the tools and click on that, and this brings up every available tool that you have at your disposal. Now most all of these are the ones that we've got in our toolbox currently. You scroll on down here to the bottom and you'll see all these here that over on the left hand side do not have the eyeball showing. These are all the color tools that are not in our toolbox. Now if you activate the eyeball so that you can see them, look at it like that, then you see that it pops up over here in our toolbox, and so on and so on. Now one reason why I wanted to bring this up is that so in case you find yourself not using any of these, or let's say a few of these tools on an ongoing basis, then you can clean them out. You don't have to have them in your toolbox. You can always acquire them later on. Like these guys here, you hardly ever use these. I do, so I'm going to have them in my toolbox, but it just gives you that much more room in your toolbox. So again, you're more than welcome to customize your toolbox, and now you know a little bit more about how to do that. Now let's say we've got an image here that we want to show how these work real quick. Open up recent, and I've been messing around with this photo here for a while. And you just click on these guys, and you see there's hardly any options. Actually, there's no options. I think there's one of them of these color tool items that have options of the 6 or 7 that there are. But what you do to activate these is you simply click on your image, and there you have it. And if you screw something up, well, you can always just hit the reset button. If you go too far in the saturation, lightness, hue, or what have you, you can always hit the reset button and go back to where it was in the beginning. So that's your color tools and how you can add and subtract tools into your toolbox. I just wanted to bring that up. I have not done that yet so far in any of the prior videos. So say bye-bye to that. Now then, what we're going to be talking about here is the clone tool, the healing tool, the perspective clone tool, the blur and sharpen tool, the smudge tool, that's pretty cool, and the burn and dodge tool, or as it's listed here, the dodge and burn tool. And I guess I can get rid of these guys here because they're just in my way right now. Say bye-bye to this. Get this out of there. Go back to my color. Okay, now then, the clone tool, ideally what I find this is used for is to, let's say for example, you've got, well, let's just open up a image real quick here, one I've been working on here. This is our striped donkey. Some people call him a zebra. Okay, so let's say that I want a herd of zebra in this image, but I can only find one at the time I took the picture. Whatever. So this is how you can do this. You can just clone this character, and here and here and here. Then you can clone all 3 of those for over here, and before you know it, you've got a whole bunch of zebras where originally there was just one. Of course, they're all going to look exactly the same as this guy here, so I won't say it. I won't say nothing if you don't. So let's go ahead and jump right into this here. And what we want to do is click on this, and we can see the options here. Now most of these guys have got similar options. As we kind of click on there, we'll see. Now some of them will have the modes grayed out, but the rest of them will not. And as far as the mode, they all have basically the same, a bunch. So I'm not going to jump into any of these. You're more than welcome to test them yourself. For the most part, we're going to leave them all on normal. And the dodge and burn is also grayed out. So let's go into the clone here, and I'm basically just going to leave everything as default. The brush size, or the scale, is pretty decent size here to speed things up. If you're working with finer items, maybe this blade of grass you want over here, well then you can always knock the scale back a little bit to where it's almost invisible. But if you've got the picture blown up using the magnifying tool, then it might be a little bit easier to work with those finer items. So let's zoom this cat back out. Oh yeah, you can also go down here too to 13%, 800%, however you want to float it. But we're going to go back to the 25% so you can see more of the image for the sake of this video. Okay, so back to our cloning tool. And what we want to do first off is hold your control button down. This way you're going to select your subject. The subject is what I'm going to copy over into the destination. So the subject is this zebra guy here, and hold the control button down and click. Now we've got a subject point. Now then over here, just start moving back and forth. Oh darn it. Undo this because I want to make this guy a little bit bigger just for the sake of the video. Okay, subject point still clicked, and get this zebra in here fairly quick like. And the more you do of these, the better you're going to get at it. And I'm sure you'll find times when you'll want to do this. You've got that wedding photo that's perfect, except for your drunken uncle with the lampshade on his head happens to be in it. Well, you can use something like this to get rid of the drunken uncle with the lampshade over his head. And just don't tell him, because he probably wouldn't remember it anyway. But anywho, that's one way that you can use the cloning tool. And as far as the healing tool, let's say that for example, if you've got a picture of your, fiance or whatever, and it's just a beautiful picture, except for that one little smudge, or you'd like to think it was a smudge on the tip of their nose, and you want to get rid of that smudge, well, that's where this healing tool will come into play. And since I don't have a picture of your fiance, what I can do is use the back side of this striped donkey. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. I'll use this guy down here, and we'll go to 200. Whoa, that's a little bit much. Actually, it's not too bad. Okay. Let's go on over here. These are those blemishes I was talking about that might be on your fiance's image. That aside from that, it's a beautiful image. So we want to get rid of these blemishes. I mean, how tactful can I be? So let's go over here to the healing brush, and it's somewhat similar in the cloning tool because you are taking a portion or the subject pixels are what you want to be in place of the destination pixels. So instead of these black dots, we want it to be white. So we hold the control button down on our keyboard and then left mouse click, and then we want to just left mouse click on the blemishes, and that will make them the same color as our destination. Now these are a little bit darker over here, so let's move our destination over here, holding my left mouse button down, holding the control key down and then clicking on the left mouse button. New destination, a little bit darker. Whereas over here, it's not that noticeable, but that's how you can use the healing tool. Is you're basically replacing the bad pixels of your picture with the good pixels of that same picture, or even of a different picture.